Hello, and welcome to the Knitical Therapy Podcast. I'm Carrie, your host and Knitical therapist. I'm here today in San Luis Obispo, California, coming to you from my apartment. I have a lot of things to share with you today because it's been a couple of weeks, and on top of that, instead of focusing on the projects that I've been working on, I started a whole bunch more. So let's get started. First, I would like to thank Michelle from the Actually Knitting podcast. She has allowed me to sponsor her Kal, so you can go over to her group on Ravelry and listen to her podcast if you don't already, which I would be pretty surprised if you don't. It's a wonderful podcast. And join in the Kal to be able to win a bunch of really cool prizes. I donated a couple of patterns of the winner's choice, so go on over there, check that out. And if you're here because of the Kal, thank you so much for coming over and checking me out. I really appreciate it. If you're a returning listener, thank you so much for coming back. If you're a new listener, thank you for checking me out. And let's get to the knitting. First things first, I have a finished object. I've got the baby blanket number 2. So as you remember, if you've been here before, I have 3 babies who were due this spring. And at this point, all 3 have arrived. But I have 2 blankets done. So one I showed last episode. This one is in the Ever After colorway of Knit Picks Felici and Dogwood Heather. And this is Knit Picks Stroll, actually. And so this is just Grandma's favorite baby blanket. And super simple. Got a little tired of it partway through, but it was enjoyable. I really enjoyed, by the time I was maybe about here, it felt like it was going super fast because they were really short rows. So that's all done. I just have to sew in the ends, and then I can deliver that to my friend when I go home in a couple of weeks. So that's very exciting. The next thing that I've been working on are my Cafe Macchiato socks. These, I think I was partway through this light blue, so really I haven't gotten too far, but I got a little bit done, so there you go. These are coming slowly. I'm just not in the right mood for socks right now, I guess. These I'm working on carbons, size 1, which is pretty much what I use for all of my socks. Oh, and that's Knit Picks Felici as well in the Lost Lakes colorway. Let's see, the next thing that you have seen before that I've been working on is baby blanket number 3. And this is the 10 stitch baby blanket. I've kind of hit a rut with it. I thought that when I got, I think it was once I finished this last half, so once I got up to this corner, I would have a square and it would be the same size about as the other 2 blankets I made, and I thought that that would be pretty good. When I measured it just a little while ago, of course unblocked and everything, it's actually quite a bit smaller than the other ones in one direction, so it's kind of more rectangular than square, or at least it seems to be. So I decided I'm going to do an extra round, so I've got a little bit of ways to go with that, which it is what it is, but I think because I thought I was so close and now I realize I've got a lot to go, I'm kind of put it away for about a week. Actually, I didn't really touch it at all because I got working on a couple of other things. This next thing is in my yarn bowl from, goodness, I can't remember the name. I linked to the company that made this yarn bowl in my first episode. So I will make sure that there's a link in my show notes. It was a birthday present from my mom. So it's beautiful. It's got some brown areas as well as the light white and blue areas. Just beautiful. And this is the candle flame cowl in Madeline Tosh Rocky Mountain High colorway. And this was just a single skein I had bought. It's a DK weight. And it was just a single skein that I bought with the idea that I would make it for, or I would use, actually I don't think I had a plan for the ball of yarn, but I had gotten it because I really liked the colorway, which it actually turns out I had gotten the same exact colorway in their singles base. Merino Light, I think, Tosh Merino Light. So it's kind of funny that I ended up with the same colorway, 2 different types of yarn. This is going super easy. This was probably 2 nights worth of work. And I was just having a really bad day the one night, and I just sat down. I'm like, I don't want to work on baby blankets. I don't want to work on anything that I have cast on. So I cast something new on, and this is what I cast on. Again, as I said, it's pretty straightforward, super easy. I've made this pattern before, so it's just, you know, what do I need to do now that I have the pattern established. You can see I've done a whole flame. Now that the whole thing is established, I can kind of just go until I run out of yarn. So that's fun. Hopefully that'll be done pretty quick. My next thing that I cast on is my Joji Lokitali's starting point Kal. So this is a mystery Kal. If you haven't seen the first clue, that is all I have done. I don't even have the full first clue done. But if you don't want to see it, turn away, look away, come back in about 2 minutes. This is the cowl, or the starting of mine. I haven't put in color number 5 yet, but you can see I have this mint green, a real teal, speckled, and then a dark purple is kind of a contrast color. It doesn't look like it's turning out as purple on there, and then it comes back to that speckled. And let's see, I just threw all the tags back in the bag. I should have been more organized so I could share this with you. The light mint is Knit Pick Stroll. This one here is Tosh Merino Light in the Scorpio colorway. This one is the Knitted Wit, and it's Pop Rock Candy Turquoise or something like that. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm going to find all the papers right after I finish. Oh, here it is. Rock Candy Teal by Knitted Wit. And then the purple is the Narwhal Needleworks in the, I'm not sure what colorway. I want to say mulberry, but I also have a feeling that that is the color that I'm using for a different project. So anyways, that's this one here. And my 5th color is, I'm in absolute love with this color. I really hope it goes well with the rest of the project because, well, it's probably not going to come out very well on the camera, but this is Forbidden Woolery, and it is a greenish gray with black throughout it, and it's just absolutely beautiful. In the right light it looks green, in other lights it looks gray, It is the Metropolis colorway. So that is my starting point. I'm super excited about that. I'm really enjoying how it's turning out, and I think tonight I will probably end up putting in that last color and get to see how they all work together. So that's going to be exciting. And believe it or not, I have one more new project. So that's like 3 new cast-ons this week, in the last 2 weeks, which I had been really good. I have been trying not to cast anything new on. I've been trying to work down all of my works in progress. And I fell hard into the start-itis. So this next one is the Marine Kal, and that's by Mary of Kino Knits. And it is a mystery Kal, so please look away if you do not want to see it. This one is, I mean, there's not much of mine to see, so I probably wouldn't be giving too much away, but if you don't want to see it yet, I understand. I am going to show it though, just to prove to you that I've cast it on. So, sorry, I should have given you a little bit more warning there, but this is it so far. Just a provisional cast on, and about 5 rows is pretty much all it is. And then I've got the first clue still to do, so that needs some work, and I'm excited. I think, well, the first clue just came out, and I'm gonna be working on that until next week when the second clue comes out. I'm really trying hard to stay like on schedule with that one. Obviously, I'm very behind with the Hohi Locatelli because I think the 5th clue just came out and I just started the first one. So I'll be working on that one at my own pace. All right, so another knit along that's going on is the Stash Dash knit along, and that is hosted by the Knit Girls, and they do this every year in the summer, and basically the idea is to knit 5K worth of yarn, as if, you know, you're doing a 5K run, you're knitting 5K of yarn, and do this between, let's see, it was like May 26th this year until August 20th, and you count up all your meterage, and at the end, if you make 5,000 meters, woohoo, you get to brag that you won Stash Dash. Everybody wins who does that. And they do have different categories. I'm trying for the 5,000 this year. That's what I do every year, and I have yet to do it. So I am hopeful this year, as I probably am every year, because, well, if you're not hopeful, why do it, right? So I've got one project finished for that. I had finished that baby blanket the weekend after Stash Dash started. So I currently have 1,032 meters towards my 5,000 meters, which means I have 3,968 meters to go. Thus why I don't know why I started new projects, because as you may know, works in progress count. So anything that I already have mostly done, aka like a baby blanket, would count. And so that's pretty cool. It's something fun to motivate me to kind of work a little bit harder. Again, I don't know why I never actually end up finishing it, but I have a decent number of works in progress right now. So if I stick with it, I can easily hit 5,000 if I just work on works in progress at this point. So that's exciting. Let's see. I think that's everything knitting wise. We've gone on a couple of hikes. We did one kind of short hike called the Harmony Headlands, and it was just like a hike out towards the coast and had a really nice little overlook onto the ocean. Very pretty, simple. We saw a snake on that that hike, and I guess it's kind of an area that's known for having snakes. It was called a California king snake. Apparently they're harmless, and they, they just slither away when you get close to them. This one did just that, so it was a little startling just to like see it without expecting it there, but otherwise, apparently they don't hurt you, or, like a rattler would or anything like that. So that was nice. We went with a coworker of mine. We just did that. It took us maybe about an hour, so it wasn't a very long hike, not a whole lot of incline or anything. We also went over to the Montaña de Oro, which is I think it's a state park, and it's got a lot of hiking trails as well. And we did about 7 or 8 miles. It was called the Hazard Peak Trail, and at the same time as we were hiking it, there was an equestrian endurance race going on. So every once in a while we had to jump out of the way of some horses who were passing us by. And of course I say that as if they were just pushing us around, but they were, they were like polite and let us, gave us time to get out of the way and everything. And you could always see them up ahead on the trail. There was only one part where they were actually bicyclists that we just like did not see them. They were coming around a corner and all of a sudden they were there. So that was a little startling, but other than that, it was a really nice hike. It was really foggy, so we did not get to see all of the really nice views that people say are there. We were able to see some once we got over one of the hills, but for the most part, it was pretty foggy. I personally like fog though, so it was very, very pretty, and I really enjoyed it. Something else we did a couple weekends ago now is the Tour de Donut, which is a 30-mile ride where we went to 3 different donut shops, and at each shop we had 10 minutes to eat as many donuts as we could, and then at the end we rode up a very, very, very steep hill, and it was technically a race. I did not race. I could barely get my bike up the hill. There were times when it was, I don't know what the incline exactly was, but it was very steep. And it was a good workout. It was fun. And yeah, I probably don't want to eat any donuts anytime soon, because that was just an experience. It was like, if you've ever seen any competition where people are trying to eat like hot dogs or something like that, like super fast, and it's just like they're not trying to taste the food or enjoy the food. It's just like create something that is easy to eat, and I don't really like that mentality. I enjoy food because it tastes good, and I would rather eat it slowly and enjoy it. So we enjoyed our donuts, but did not overdo it. Let's see. We have made sourdough pancakes again. Let's see. I don't know if I've talked about them on the podcast yet, but we've made them a total of 3 times now, and 2 out of the 3 times worked really, really well. And then this past time, for some reason, they did not work. They were really super sour, which maybe is a good thing, but they weren't cooking right. We forgot to put the salt in. I don't know. We maybe put too much starter in. Everything that could have gone wrong on that recipe, we apparently did wrong, because the pancakes just were not turning out. So we ended up having leftovers. So yeah, that's about it. I'm trying to get back into running. I've been doing spin classes as well as now I'm trying to get back into running, and I got new shoes because my my running shoes were about 3 years old, I'm pretty sure, and they were pretty new. I got them shortly before I ran a half marathon, and then after that I kind of ran sporadically for 3 years, and at this point just wasn't, they're just not worth wearing. I'm just gonna hurt myself. They're not comfortable. So I splurged on some new shoes, and I'm excited to get into training. I have what turned out to be a virtual 5K this the 1st of July, which is kind of a bummer that it turned into a virtual run. But if nothing else, it gave me a date that I had to train for. So I'm working towards it. We'll see how that goes. Eventually, I would like to train for another half marathon someday down the road. And I think that is everything for today. I appreciate you coming by to watch my show. I hope you enjoy it. And please hit subscribe to find out when I post my next one. You can find me at Knitical Therapy on Ravelry and on Instagram. You can also find me on Goodreads as K Willa. You can find the website at kniticaltherapy.com, and on there you're going to find all the show notes where I will list, post links to everything that I talked to you about today. So thank you so much for coming by. I hope you have a wonderful week. Hopefully I will see you again in a week rather than 2. But have a great week. Enjoy knitting. Bye.